Why do I love living in Bali? Is it the weather? Is it the people? Is it the food? Let's find out. But first, let me know in the comments where you live and what is the favorite thing for you living at the place that you live. So I'm gonna tell you 6 things that I love about living in Bali from my personal perspective. So first of all, a tropical paradise. One of the reasons I love living in Bali is the weather. I love that it's warm. I also enjoy that it's not too warm. For me, it's kind of perfect, around like 27 to 30 degrees usually. I also really enjoy being able to be outside all the time, be able to like cook outside in my outside kitchen, be able to eat outside. And I love like the tropical scenery and the beaches and all of that. Also, I think compared to like Sweden, for example, it can become kind of depressing to live there during some months of the year. For example, November, when it's dark all the time, it's very cold, very rainy. So I really do enjoy that living here in Bali. Second thing I love about Bali is being close to the ocean. I've actually been diving for over 10 years, and before I moved to Bali, I always focused to go travel so I could be able to go diving. And many of you might not know that I'm also actually a scuba diving instructor, even though I doesn't work with it here. But I love to have the option to go diving here whenever I would like to, even though I might not do it as often as I would like, but I love that I have the option here, and also to be able to go surfing sometimes when I like to, or just go swimming whenever, and also to live so close to the ocean that I can actually hear the waves during the day, which is something that I love. Also, to watch the sunset over the ocean is something very magical. So the ocean is definitely one of the big things that I really love about Bali. Another thing I love is the people in Bali, and obviously I married a Balinese man, so obviously I love him, but I also love people in general here in Bali. And I'm not sure actually what it is, but I think many people that been to Bali can kind of agree with me that it's something specific with Balinese people, that they are very kind, very polite. I don't know if it has to do with the culture around karma, and that they strongly believe in karma and that you should be a good person for the afterlife, and if that has something to do with it. But the people here in Bali definitely has a very special vibe to them. They have a very special culture that I really appreciate, and I also feel that it's very humble people often here in Bali that I meet. Another thing I would say is probably the casual vibe, and I don't think this is necessarily like always the case for everyone that lives in Bali, but at least for me, my life here feels very casual. And I think one of the reasons is that we live on a small island where everything is very close. It's kind of like this village vibe, a little bit similar as I grew up with in a small village in Sweden. It's kind of like you can pop over to someone whenever and just go and visit. You don't necessarily have to plan everything down to the minute. Also, of course, working from home makes your life a bit more flexible. But it's just that vibe that is a little bit hard to put your finger on what creates that vibe. I think also, of course, that living in Bali can be more cheap than, for example, living in Sweden. So it might be easier, for example, to do spontaneous things like go out and eat food somewhere, or take a trip to mainland and do something over a weekend or something like that, because it's cheaper to do so. So that might also be one of the reasons, but it's definitely a lifestyle that I really appreciate. Fruit and fresh fish. This is definitely something that is very nice when it comes to food. I really love that we, for example, have a mango tree here just at our house. So when mango season is, Tom can climb the tree and just pick down fresh mango that we can eat. And it's also something special with the fruit here, like fresh fruit here tastes different than it might do from like the grocery store at home in Sweden. Also that Tom can go fishing or we can go hunting for shrimp and those type of things. Just anytime go and catch fish or shrimp for lunch or dinner, which I really love to be able to do sometimes. Food in general, like I like the food in Bali, but there's also things that I of course miss from Sweden when it comes to food, but fresh fruit and like fresh fish and seafood is definitely something that I appreciate so much living here in Bali. And last but not least, Tom. Of course, one of the things that I love about Bali is that I met Tom here. So as some of you might know that have been watching my YouTube for a while, my plan was actually never to like permanently move to Bali. It was never a goal by itself. But when I met Tom here and I went a bit back and forth for a while, and then I decided to stay here mostly because of Tom. So Tom is of course one of the big reasons why I love it here in Bali, because I love living here with him. I also really love like his personality and his background and how we like complement each other. Because I think because we come from so different backgrounds and we have so different experiences and different strengths and different weaknesses, it makes us complement each other in a really good way. And I think the reason also we can do that is because Tom is such a humble person. I try to be a humble person at least, but I really love that part of our relationship where we can teach each other different things. So I'm really happy that I met him here in Bali and that I decided to move here to live with him in Bali. Tell me in the comments if you've been to Bali and what you love about Bali, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.